All right, a long time ago, I raised a son to know his Spielberg from his Snyder.
Now we're turning our arguments into content. This is I Am Your Father, where Gen X meets Gen Z in hyperspace.
Yeah. How are we doing?
Doing pretty good.
For those that don't know, we are definitely recording this in different states, which is going to be our norm, right?
Yeah, this will be the regular format.
Yeah. So before we get into the meat of the content today, I have an update for you.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, I finished Invincible Season 1.
Dang, let's go. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'm ready for Season 2. I'm ready for Season 2. It is remarkably violent. Remarkably.
Oh, yeah. Extremely.
Like maybe the most violent thing I've ever seen. Like it out-violences just about any show I've ever seen. It's pretty intense at times, especially that final episode. That being said, I can handle it. I do always find it funny how comfortable we are in society with, when somebody's drawing a line where it's like, we're good with the violence here. We don't want the sex, but we're good with the violence. And then other shows go the opposite direction. But this is definitely a, hold the sex, pass the violence kind of show.
Heavy violence. That's for
heavy
sure.
violence. Yeah, there's a lot of heads being crushed. But it is solid. The sheer voice talent is absolutely amazing.
Just wait.
I cheated. I IMDb'd it, and I went ahead and noticed. I was like, oh my god, look at all
It's like 60 names you recognize.
Yeah. It's pretty intense. So anyway, great recommendation. Obviously, I should have been on this a long time ago, and now I am. So we should be good to go.
You gonna keep going with season 2?
Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah, so
it's a good one. I'll let you know. People don't like season 2 as much. I personally think it's really great. I think part of the reason is they took like a 3-month long gap midway through the season, lost all momentum. So people kind of lost interest a little bit. But I still think
the old Sopranos final season game.
Yeah. If you binge it, I think it's really great. And then season 3 is legitimately some of the best television I think I've ever seen. I absolutely loved it.
Wow, that's a bold statement. All right, well, I'm going. I'll stay connected, and I'll let you know how I feel about the rest of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, it is time for our 10 in 20. This is a segment where we try and tackle 10 quick topics in 20 minutes, 2 minutes apiece. We'll try and time ourselves, but we're not so good at that, are we?
Not very.
All right, we'll do our best, right?
I'll take us into our first topic.
All right, let's do it.
So we have lots of Spider-Man news, my favorite kind of news. We have a release date for the next Spider-Man movie, Brand New Day, coming out July 31st, 2026, a little over a year from now. And that will be in between the 2 Avengers movies. I'm hoping to see a nice grounded story here, but we'll see, considering it takes place in between 2 Avengers movies. And then additionally, we have the release date officially, hopefully. I don't know how sure they are this time because they've had a few. But we have the release date for Beyond the Spider-Verse, and it's still about 2 years out. It's supposed to come out about a year ago originally, but still 2 years out. I personally am of the opinion that they should just take their time with this. I think they have an amazing first 2 movies, and if they can close it out really well, it has potential to be one of the greatest, if not the greatest trilogies ever, in my opinion. So I want them to take their time with it for sure.
Yeah, obviously we want the content, but I agree. I would rather quality over soon. So which of the 2 are you most excited for, would you say?
Oh, definitely Beyond the Spider-Verse. I love the MCU stuff. I love Tom Holland, but the Beyond the Spider-Verse movies are on another level for me.
They really are. I totally agree. They just blow me away. I can watch them over and over again. And
Absolutely.
I never would have thought that Miles Morales. Miles Morales was always a cool character, but I never was super in love with him. Now he's absolutely my favorite, and that series is so good. The first 2 are just absolutely amazing. So I'm definitely looking forward to that one more.
Yeah, I'm actually not even sure that I love Miles Morales outside of these movies. I've played his games and read a few of his comics, and don't get me wrong, I definitely enjoy him as a character. But specifically in these movies, he's just so amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the animation styles really ultimately, it's so many styles mixed together, such great talent. It's one of the most amazing things that I've ever seen, honestly. And so I even have both of the soundtracks on vinyl. They are often played in the house, as you know, and I'm definitely most excited about that. That being said, let's go back to Brand New Day. They're saying that it literally is a blank slate. It's a fresh start for this Tom Holland series. What are your thoughts there?
I think that's a good thing. I like what they did with the last movie where they made it a sneaky secret origin for him. A lot of people complained that the origin was too different from the comics leading up to that movie. And I feel like they kind of just said to the fans, you know what, we've been telling his origin this whole time. And now we have an opportunity to give you the Spider-Man that you've really been wanting to see, the Spider-Man, from the comics. So I'm hoping they do that. I think it has potential to be the best one yet. And I'm hoping they just really nail it. And I think they kind of have to, seeing as Spider-Man is, without a doubt, the most important character they have right now.
Agreed. All right. Well, that brings us to topic number 2. We got the trailer this week for Karate Kid Legends.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to watch that, Braden?
Yeah, I did. I'm skeptical. I don't know how good I think it'll be, especially post Cobra Kai, which I watched most of, but not all of it. I haven't seen the ending, which a lot of people love.
Oh, really? Fair enough. I mean, I feel like there was definitely a lull that I hit where I kind of stopped enjoying it as much. It became less of a novelty, and suddenly it became more homework, and I didn't like it when it was homework.
I agree. That's how I felt about the end. That's why I haven't finished it. But I will be honest, the trailer I think is cut together very well. It looks like it's going to follow the same tropes, which can be maybe a little boring. And that's just based off the trailer. We'll see if they actually do that in the movie. But I will say by the end of the trailer, I was like, you know what? I'm kind of hyped up right now. This looks like it might actually at least be fun.
Yeah. All right. So before we move on, I have one quick, probably not so hot take. Guys, find Ralph Macchio a stylist. Please find him a stylist. I don't get the haircut. Just this guy. There's a lot of money going into this movie. Somebody dress him. When Jackie Chan has a better haircut than Ralph Macchio, we're in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, he just looks like a dude.
He looks like a doof, is what he looks like. I can't figure it out. And if I want to take him seriously, I need him to modernize him. Keep him up with the times. He's supposed to be the successful guy. I mean, let's have him dress successfully.
He could as easily be a Target manager as a movie star.
No doubt. I'm going to give him my Chick-fil-A order before long. Okay. You got us for topic number 3.
Yeah, I do. So, one battle after another. Trailer came out. Why don't you give your thoughts on it and a little bit of a breakdown?
Yeah, I mean, so first off, we've got Leo working with PTA, Paul Thomas Anderson, who is, for some of our younger listeners, there's so many of them, director of There Will Be Blood, Boogie Nights, Licorice Pizza, The Phantom Thread. This guy works with the best. He's considered by many to be the best working director. That's not my personal take, but he's certainly talented. I've definitely got love for some of his films, and I really enjoyed Licorice Pizza a lot when it came out. But more importantly, I mean, you've got Leo back. Also, I mean, I'm not the biggest Leo fan. There are a handful of movies that I love, sort of despite Leo being in them. But where I'm talking about The Departed, as an example, Wolf of Wall Street. These are Scorsese films to me that I love with Leo. But I think it's pretty impressive to have the two of them together. But I also think the trailer looks like a lot of fun. It's got this really great sort of counterculture, revolutionary, espionage-ish conspiracy theory kind of thing going on, and my interest is piqued, especially with the likes of Benicio del Toro and Sean Penn involved.
Yeah, I mean, the trailer looked very fun. I have to be honest, I actually don't know that I've seen any Paul Thomas Anderson movies. I know there's a few that I need to get to. Absolutely. But this trailer looked very good. I think this trailer probably convinced me to go watch some of his movies.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you grew up in I raised you more or less on Star Wars, and as you started to get older, when you would have otherwise gone into this type of film, the film industry was taken over by superheroes.
Yeah.
So it's been, I definitely have a love for this sort of prestige drama that is out there, and so I think you should definitely give it a try. So
yeah, I definitely will. All right, moving on to number 4, we have Snow White bombing at the box office. It has 40% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is Actually, a little better than I expected, about a 1.5 on IMDb, which I believe, if that isn't, at one point, Snow White was at the lowest rating of any movie on IMDb. And
it's pretty tough.
And then on top of that, we have a 1 star on Letterboxd.
Yeah.
Is any Disney live action even worth it at this point?
Yeah, it's tough. I think that they've had a few that I enjoy, but it is so few and far between. And those that I have enjoyed are, really when they've given us an origin story of sorts. I enjoyed Cruella. I'm gonna generate a lot of hate for that as well, including the Schneider stuff. I enjoyed the Cruella movie. I enjoyed the Maleficent movie. But very few of the rest of them have piqued my interest anyway, and most of them seemed like a waste of time and money, a money grab.
Yeah, I mean, they've had some serious stinkers lately too, with Pinocchio and Peter Pan and Wendy, which I wanted to love because I love the Peter Pan movie. But I don't know that they should keep trying to do this, and I think maybe this might be the final nail in the coffin. Maybe they're just like, hey, you know what? This isn't working, and it hasn't been, so we should just stop. But I doubt it.
I'm just waiting for the live action Finding Nemo.
That'll be severely boring.
I mean, this one seemed doomed from the start, honestly. I mean, from the day it was announced, it was getting hate. That has not dried up. In fact, if anything, it increased. But they spent so much money marketing this film. I mean, it is everywhere, and yet no one will go see it.
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough loss. All right, our next topic. We have a new show from Guy Ritchie. He's a favorite of ours.
Definitely.
And he's got a new show on Paramount Plus called Mobland. We've got one episode in. I don't know if you got a chance to pick it up, but I did. I watched it, and I really liked it a lot. Do you have any initial thoughts?
Well, I just love anything Guy Ritchie, to be super honest. I mean, he has some that aren't as good, but some of my favorite movies are Guy Ritchie movies, one of them being The Gentleman. I think severely underrated. I absolutely love that movie.
It's a great film. I like it a
lot. And I just love his style. And you can feel it in this show, and I love those thick accents and anything gangster, anything crime. It's right up my alley. So I thought this first episode was very good, and I'm very excited to keep watching.
Yeah, I liked it a lot too. Obviously, Tom Hardy is just so good, and he's perfect for a dog's barking. He's perfect for Guy Ritchie's style. I love him in this. I mean, I've been on Guy Ritchie since the beginning, since Lock, Stock, Snatch. I mean, I think he went through a dry period. I really enjoyed the Sherlock films there, though. And then The Gentleman really did feel like a throwback to the classic Guy Ritchie style, and this has continued. I have not picked up the Gentleman TV show yet. I really want to do that. I just haven't had time. But I hear it's really great, and I'm glad to be on this one right away. And then we got an announcement today, too, that he's got another show coming out with John Krasinski, and Natalie Portman and somebody else, and he's involved in that show too. So he's got another one coming out. So I'm excited about this new era of Guy Ritchie television.
Yeah, I do think that might be his one weakness, is I think he's putting out too much too quickly, and I think the quality is suffering a little bit here and there. I mean, he's released like 3 or 4 movies in the last 3 years alone, and at least 2 of those have just been okay.
Can one of them in the future please be Sherlock 3?
No, I think it's in the works, so bad. It has. We need it. We absolutely need it.
They've been saying it's in the works for like a decade now. I swear, it's been in the works for so long.
And put Tom Hardy in it.
Exactly. I want Tom Hardy as our villain. That'd be perfect.
I want Tom Hardy in anything.
I'm looking right at the TikTok camera here. Guy Ritchie, make the dang movie. Make it. Make Sherlock 3. We want it.
We want it.
We want it.
Yeah, with Tom Hardy.
With Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Tom Hardy. All right. Our next topic. Go ahead. You got this one.
Yeah. Now You See Me 4 is in the works, which is funny because Now You See Me 3 is not even out yet. It's coming out later this year, and it is officially called what the second one should have been called, and it's Now You See Me, Now You Don't. Do you enjoy this franchise, or?
I want to. This is a franchise I want to enjoy and don't. I try. I mean, I think I've seen the first one probably 3 times at least. Yeah. And I keep wanting to like it. I have to say that I think to me it's casting. I think that it's Jesse Eisenberg playing Jesse Eisenberg, and I want him to play a character and just not an affectation of himself on steroids. I struggle with Woody Harrelson as much as I can like him. I have so much baggage with him. We had this conversation before.
Yeah.
I have so much baggage with Woody Harrelson that I struggle to not just see him sometimes as other characters.
Yeah.
And, you know, James may be the better Franco, but I don't know. And then too, when they, when they walked away from Ilsa Fisher, I thought it might have actually been an upgrade from an acting perspective, but I struggled with it.
Yeah. I really enjoy the first one, and I actually disagree with you on the Jesse Eisenberg performance. I know he plays a kind of a very witty kind of guy normally, but I feel like he's actually a little more confident and arrogant in this one rather than a little more neurotic. But
more confident than, say, Mark Zuckerberg?
Yeah, but even then, in that case, it's just a different kind of confidence, in my opinion. I don't see those characters as very similar, but I do agree where it falls under the Jesse Eisenberg banner. But the second one, I will agree, is a much harder watch. And again, I want to love these movies a lot. I love magic. I love this kind of fast-paced, twist and turn kind of storytelling. So I hope this third one is good, but if I'm being completely honest, I kind of doubt it.
So I'm going to throw out a recommendation to our listeners, if you like magic, and to you, son. My Padawan, there is a movie that I want you to try and track down. It's really hard to find, but it is called The Magicians. It's a tricky one to find, like I said, but it is well worth the watch and gives you everything that you should have gotten out of Now You See Me and don't.
And that's a movie or a show?
That's a movie. It's a movie. Yeah. I'll pull up the cast later and shoot it over to you, but it's tricky to find. I have a very old, like bought from Blockbuster copy.
Wow.
And it's tricky to find. So I may just need to give you that literal DVD to stick in your.
I don't even know if I have a DVD player.
I think your PS5 will suffice.
Okay.
It'll do the trick.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
All right. Speaking of apparently a topic where I'm getting a lot of hate, my consistent mispronunciation of Mr. Zack Snyder. He's set to direct a new film, and apologies. I guess I've reached that point where I'm an old man, and I don't care that I mispronounce things. That drives me crazy that's true. I'm thinking of my father and buying a coffee from Starbucks. But anyway, so UFC. He's making a UFC film. Dana White's producing. What are your thoughts there?
Well, I'm hoping it wasn't an April Fool's joke. I don't think it was.
Oh.
And
great point.
Zack Snyder knows how to direct action. That's definitely his strongest suit, is when it comes to action. So, I mean, if he's directing a UFC movie, there's going to be some good fights in it. So I'm hoping he's able to find the right story and the right actor and tell a completely compelling story, a completely compelling narrative overall. I'm a little nervous because he's put out some stinkers lately also, in my opinion, but I'm here for it. I love Zack Snyder. I love the look of his movies and the look of his action.
We have discussed this before. We are both apologists. We love our Snyder, even if one of us can't say his name right. And yeah, but now you've got me panicked. This news did come out on April 1st, didn't it?
I think so, but it came out with a batch of news that wasn't fake. So,
oh man, that day was driving me nuts in terms of what we were getting.
So
Some
paranoid.
Of it was obviously obvious, but others got me excited for half a second, and I hate that.
I know you sent me like 3 or 4 posts, and then the last one you're like, wait a minute, were those all fake?
I had started to second guess myself quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I was annoyed by that, but fair enough. Okay. Next topic. We've got some casting news that came out this week. My boy Nick Frost of Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead and other great flicks has joined the cast of the new untitled Harry Potter show. He will be playing none other than the big boy, the groundskeeper Hagrid.
Yeah,
that's right.
I think that's pretty good casting, to be super honest. I've always thought that was going to be one of the harder ones to fill because the first time around it was just perfect. But I mean, I think they kind of nailed it with this guy. And I actually think it's one of the few castings so far that I'm actually on board with.
Yeah, I guess I would agree with that. I don't really feel. I mean, Lithgow. I guess I can see Lithgow as Dumbledore. I mean, Janet McTeer as McGonagall. I'm okay with, but it doesn't excite me. And the actor whose name I'm not going to try and pronounce right now because I'm going to screw it up, but who's playing Severus Snape. I have very little history with him.
Yeah.
I've seen him in like Black Mirror, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So I think he's done a few other things. I think I just watched that show a little while ago, Black Doves, and it says he's in it. I honestly don't remember him in it. So I think there's still a lot of work to be done, but I agree.
Absolutely.
Nick Frost is kind of perfect. It's really good casting for this.
He is.
I think
perfect,
we're gonna have to reach out to our friend David and get his take on this. In fact, I think one of these days we're gonna need to get David on the show and do a full Harry Potter deep dive.
Yeah, you mean your local Harry Potter expert?
Yeah, well, he's not so local. I mean, he's local to America, but not to California or Nevada. Yeah. Okay, fantastic. All right.
Yeah.
Next one. You got number 9.
Yeah. Marvel, that live stream they did, Marvel achieved an all-time streaming record, which is pretty wild. During the stream, 275 million views and 3.1 million social mentions, which is a lot, by the way.
That's a few more than we have.
Yeah, a few more, just a few.
A few more.
And the viewership grew every hour, which is also impressive, and reached up to 5 times the viewership of Deadpool and Wolverine. The Deadpool and Wolverine Super Bowl trailer, which at the time was Marvel's most viewed trailer to date. So
yeah,
I guess the question I pose is everybody wrong, or is Marvel dead? I don't think it is.
I mean, I think that these numbers speak to the fact that the audience is there and they want that quality content that they were used to back in the previous phases, and they're hungry for it. They're tired of the trash they've been getting lately.
Yeah.
Deadpool and Wolverine notwithstanding. So it's clear that the audience is there if they trust the people who are giving them what they're giving them. The Russo brothers have pretty much been over in anything that doesn't have the word Avengers in it.
Yeah. Or Captain America.
Yeah. Which was essentially an Avengers film with the wrong title. And so I think we're all ready to see what they can do with this IP that they have already shown us they know what to do with.
And it's not the only thing they know what to do.
Yeah, outside of going back to Community, which seemed like they were their training ground for what they ultimately did with the superhero franchise is amazing. But I think if anything can save this, they can in this spot. That's crazy too, because a couple years ago it was the only thing that mattered, and we were all talking about how no one's ever landed the plane the way that Marvel landed the plane, and they landed the plane, and then they walked away and they blew up the plane.
Yeah,
and we were all still on board, unfortunately. So now we really need them to do this reset.
Yeah, I agree. I very excited to see what they do. I'm optimistic. I trust them. And additionally, I will not be hearing any Deadpool and Wolverine slander from you. I think that was a great movie.
I wasn't slandering.
Oh, were you not?
I was saying it was trash up until Deadpool and Wolverine.
Okay.
No,
I misheard
slander.
you. Misheard you.
No slander.
Okay, good. That's right.
No, I'm on board. I enjoyed it. I mean, I can somehow stomach a tiny bit more Ryan Reynolds than I can Jesse Eisenberg.
There you go.
And
very big
this
of
was
you.
just enough. It was just enough. Yeah.
Very
no,
big of you.
I think it's a great. I enjoyed the film a lot. So no slander from me.
Okay, good. You want to take us into our last topic?
All right, we got one last in our 10 and 20. Who knows what time we're at? John Wick. Lots of news right now. Lots of news. The universe is expanding. We had the Continental, which neither of us unfortunately cared enough to watch. The Ballerina's coming out. I will be there opening night for sure. But we found out this week we've got an animated John Wick movie in the works. We've got Donnie Yen directing a spinoff, and Chapter 5 is officially happening with our boy Keanu. Not Keanu the cat, but Keanu the Reeves. And there's a lot going on in this world. Is this the new superhero world? Is this the new MCU? What do you think?
I guess we'll see how good these projects are.
Yeah.
I'll watch John
1
Wick
through 4
movies.
hasn't missed.
No, exactly. I'll watch those till Keanu Reeves is 90 years old and beyond. But the spin-offs, I don't know if I'm as interested in. So I guess it'll just come down to whether or not they're actually good and compelling when
not Ballerina. Ballerina's not getting your interest.
No, that one does look interesting to me. I will be there. It looks good. And of course, they already spoiled their John Wick cameo in it, which is hilarious to me. Well, because they felt they needed to get people there.
Yeah, I think it was a smart move. I'm normally not a big fan of spoiling those things, but I think in this case they needed to say, almost like, by the way, Keanu signs off on this.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
I'm Keanu Reeves, and I approve this message.
I am just generally against reveals and trailers.
No, I totally agree. I think that typically it's trash, and I don't want to see it. So, yeah, I totally agree.
All right, that'll wrap up our 10 and 20.
Woo, we got through a lot.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Lots of news. There always is.
Yeah, lots of news. You want to kick around a little game here?
Yeah, we're gonna play a game. We are going to wager back and forth our knowledge in a specific category. Today, it's going to be Harry Potter characters. So I will present how many characters I think I can name within 60 seconds, and he will counter, and we will go back and forth until one of us calls BS on the other, and that one will have to prove it. So if you want to pull up a timer while we are going back and forth.
While we're thinking about this?
Yeah, so I will just get started right off the bat and say I can name...
You're going to get started right off the bat.
Yeah, I'm going to say I can name 10. Pretty easily, I might add.
You think you could... Yeah, 10 pretty easily. I don't think that that's a crazy statement. Yeah, I mean, I'll jump to 15.
15? And keep in mind, this is within 60 seconds this time. So, I will say 20. I think I can do 20 in 60 seconds.
20 in 60 seconds, yeah. I'll do 25.
All right. I think I'm going to call BS on you.
I'm definitely at a disadvantage to your Harry Potter knowledge, but I'm going to give it a try. But now, wait, that means you need to come up with a timer now, because I can't be looking at the timer and thinking about...
Well, just don't look at it.
You know? But no, I mean, I need to know. You need to be able to say and time. You know what I mean?
All right.
But I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go when you're ready, because I'm going to start before you start the timer so I can cheat.
Okay. All right. I'm pulling it up.
Man, I'm trying to run through these in my head as fast as I can.
You're totally cheating.
No, I'm just thinking in my head. Because
ready,
you mentioned David
set,
before. Obviously, he could name 100,000 of these. Dang it. Harry, Hermione, Ron, Snape, McGonagall, Dumbledore, Hagrid. Did I already say Ron? Yes, I did. Does the Sorting Hat count? I think
sure,
it does.
I'll give it to you.
Right? Sirius, Cedric, Dolores Umbridge, Malfoy, Grindelwald, Hedwig?
Yep.
Tonks,
that's 15.
Remus, Regulus, Peter Pettigrew, Cedric. Did I say Cedric already?
You said Cedric.
Neville, Dobby.
5 more. And you have 15 seconds about.
Damn.
Think of some founders.
Lucius Malfoy. Cho.
Yep. 3 more. Come on.
Fred Weasley.
Time.
Lily Potter.
That's time.
I was close.
You know what's hilarious to me is that you said Fred and then you did not immediately say George.
George? Yeah, that was a fail.
You were pretty close.
That was a fail.
I think you were ultimately 1 or 2 off there.
Yeah. I bit off more than I could chew.
Just a little bit.
What can you say? Okay, so we are going to get into the meat of our episode. We're going to talk a little bit about Mr. Christopher Nolan. There's a lot of buzz right now about The Odyssey, what's happening. The casting is coming out pretty regularly. Obviously, Matt Damon was the first announced as Mr. Odysseus. But we've got Tom Holland, Robert Pattinson, Zendaya, Charlize Theron. I'm doing better than this than I did on Harry Potter. Mr. John Bernthal.
One of my personal faves.
The Punisher himself. Anne Hathaway. Oh, Anne Hathaway. Elliot Page, Mia Goth. We talked about Ryan Hurst in the last episode. Lupita Nyong'o. And Cosmo Jarvis, who is also from Shogun, and which is a show that I really loved a lot. This cast is impressive, really impressive. And so we're gonna dive into a little bit. So we're gonna talk about our thoughts on this. We're gonna give our rankings to Mr. Nolan's films, and just generally debate the topic. So let's start with Odyssey. I mean, Swords and Sandals, Matt Damon. Is that our first thought?
Definitely not. And I would also say that I haven't been on the Matt Damon train that the rest of the world seems to be on. He definitely has I definitely enjoy him in several things, but not in everything he's in.
I mean, I think that he has a type of character that he plays really well, and I got to be honest. I mean, I felt like he was actually one of the weaker points of Oppenheimer.
Oh, I agree.
And so I was really surprised by this. Now, Nolan, like a lot of auteurs, I mean, he gets on with an actor and he keeps pushing it, and so with Cillian Murphy and others, like, you know, we've seen this with Scorsese, we've seen this with Spielberg. You know, he's obviously sees something in Matt Damon that he is exciting to him. And this whole cast is great, and I love Matt Damon, but him as Odysseus, it does feel a little off to me.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll just see an execution. I trust Nolan. He makes movies that I really like, so I'm gonna see what this one's about. Especially, I love the Swords and Sandals genre very much, and so Nolan plus that is basically my dream come true. So I think it'll be really good. I really do. I have very high hopes for it.
I get it. I mean, I'm compelled to note though that Swords and Sandals films, as we're calling them, as they are sometimes called, I mean, I think they have like a 30% hit rate. I mean, it's tough.
If that.
It's tough to pull it off.
If that.
Yeah. It's tough. So, but it's exciting to see that he's going in this direction, and that he's going to take on this challenge, because if anybody can pull it off, maybe he can. But we've seen some big names not pull it off.
No, definitely. I mean, I say it's one of my favorite categories of movie, and I don't think I could even name 5 really good ones. So, but in Nolan we trust. So
okay. So why don't we dig into some of his films and let's talk about what we like about them. Let's rank them, etc. Do you want to start at the bottom?
Yeah, I mean, our bottom is the same, but beyond that, we have pretty different lists. So this is definitely...
I'm compelled to mention that that technically my bottom is one lower than yours, because I originally had the following on there. And have you not seen the following?
I haven't. I need to.
Okay.
I guess I just haven't rushed because I know it's not the best.
No, I mean, it's good though. I mean, when you see it, what you can see is the seed of someone that's going to make amazing films.
Yeah. I guess that's fair.
Yeah. So skipping over the following, and we are talking about features only today. As you mentioned, our last place film is Insomnia.
Yeah.
Do you dislike this movie?
I don't dislike it at all. I've only seen it once, and it was recently, actually, like within the last year or so.
Yeah, we watched it together.
Yeah, in no way did I not enjoy it. I thought it was perfectly good, perfectly enjoyable. It doesn't quite feel like a Christopher Nolan film to me, and I know it's early on for him, so that could definitely be why. I mean, that definitely is why. And I think we actually get some pretty good performances as well. It's just not for me, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you think he's still trying to find his voice?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, he's following up a monster. He's following up an amazing feature film debut, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean,
so yeah,
definitely an amazing debut.
Is it casting? I've often wondered in watching Insomnia, as legendary and uncompromising as both Al Pacino and Robin Williams are, they are a specific taste. They are a specific
absolutely.
style. And maybe they're not right for this movie.
They might not be.
I kind of think this movie is better if it's not overwhelmed by star power.
Yeah, that could absolutely be true. But to quote Kanye, I guess we'll never know.
I really hope we don't quote him too often.
No.
But yeah, I guess not.
All right. Right above
you've
that,
got what I consider to be a pretty controversial next pick here.
I know. I'll be honest.
What is this, number 10? Did we go to 11? Is that where we're at? We like Spinal Tap, we took this one to 11?
Yeah. Yep, to 11. Yep. So in my number 10 slot, I feel dirty even saying it, is Dunkirk.
You should.
I've seen this movie 3 times, I think. The first time, I didn't realize until about the last 30 minutes that we were jumping around timelines.
The first time.
And I wouldn't put that on myself. I think it wasn't very obvious in the movie.
Yeah, I agree.
And I felt it was rather unnecessary. But the truth is each time I've revisited it, really hoping to enjoy it much more. Again, I think it's perfectly good. I think what it really is war movies just aren't really my favorite genre. And so I think, unfortunately, I just don't find it inherently interesting. And that's why it kind of falls to the bottom for me. I think it's made really well. And I think it's extremely stressful. But it's never... And maybe this just speaks to his catalog, but I will just never turn that one on over, 10 or 9 other movies.
I mean, I prefer it to a few of the others. It's quite a bit higher up on my list, like 4 higher. But I get your point about the time jumping. I struggled with that the first time too. It felt a little like he gave us something that we were supposed to expect from a Christopher Nolan film. So unnecessary is a good way to put it.
Yeah.
And I think that you really kind of have to think through it. That being said, it's beautifully shot. It's incredibly acted. It's the drama is palpable. I don't think it's 10. I don't think it's 10 at all. I think it's quite a bit higher than that. But I agree with that take about the time jumping.
Yeah. Well, why don't you give me your number 10?
I've got The Dark Knight Rises in 10. I think that it's a film that I enjoy. Again, we both put Tom Hardy properties in our number 10 slot. I like him in this film, but I think that it's definitely the number 3 in a franchise that has incredible highs and some pretty big lows as well. Sound design's a little odd in this film. There's aspects of the storytelling that don't quite make sense. I can't forgive pretend NFL teams. It just doesn't work for me, especially starring real NFL players. And it's pretty heavy on Christian Bale as the Batman, and I don't know how well that works for me. I think, as we've said before in a previous episode, we think that Bale, unfortunately, is the weak point of all 3 films.
Yeah.
In that trilogy. But so again, I have it in the 10 slot, just above Insomnia, and it's not that I dislike this film. Again, this is a list of good movies.
No, absolutely. There's not a bad movie.
It just goes from good to great. Yeah. But for me, it's on the lower end. I know you have it quite a bit higher. It's like almost like your Dark Knight Rises and my Dunkirk are just about flipping places.
No, yeah, this is where our lists are going to become dramatically different, which I didn't really expect, but it is quite.
I think you should have expected it. We've had this debate, especially with your number 2. I don't mean to bury the lead here, but I mean,
spoiler.
I think you're wrong. You're totally wrong.
No, and I think I just thought higher of you, and that's why I'm surprised. So, yeah, my opinion of you was better, and you disappointed me.
Like you did.
But I guess we'll go into my number 9, and I'll just touch on it briefly because we just talked about these movies, so I don't think we should spend too much time on them. In my number 9, I have Batman Begins. Again, not a movie I dislike at all. In my opinion, it's the weakest of the trilogy, and I know that's a hot take, but it's just the last one I'm gonna turn on. It's the one I've seen the least. It makes me feel the least, and so I need to revisit it. I really do, and I plan to do that soon. It's just not my favorite out of all of them, and I think, again, everything above this I would much rather put on. But
yeah, I mean, you're only one spot lower than I am on the list. I've got it at 8. You've got it at 9. I just think I do though agree that it has some weak points, but I think it's better than you're giving it credit for.
It absolutely
and I think it was a fantastic reintroduction of the franchise, especially considering what we'd gone through with the Schumacher films.
Yeah.
So it was great, but I do, looking back, and especially looking at our individual lists here, which are available on Letterboxd if anyone wants to look at them. They do all three sort of feel like outliers to the rest of his catalog. It's almost like that time when he had a weird affair and then went back to his wife or something. It's like, no, it doesn't quite work. It's like, wait, why were you with her? I don't get it.
Sometimes I actually look at his filmography and I have to kind of pinch myself and be like, oh yeah, he did make those movies. They don't feel like something he would make or that he did make.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. But
why don't you say something offensive to me right now and tell me your number 8 slot or your number 9 slot?
Yeah. For me, it's The Prestige. It's a film I enjoy. It is a film that I don't think is anywhere near the top of the list for him, but it's a good movie. It's a good Christopher Nolan film.
Yeah, I'll speak about it a little later.
Will you? Will you?
Oh, I will.
You're going to save your ire till later?
I absolutely am. Moving on.
All right. I
Next on my list, I have something that I wanted to be much higher. And
you wanted to be.
Yeah, I wanted it to be. And that's Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer. Pretty low, considering this is his Best Picture win.
And I think that's criminal that this is the movie that he won Best Picture for.
That happens.
It happens. And it kind of felt like one of those things where they realized, we got to give this guy an Oscar at some point. And I kind of hate that about the Oscars, if I'm being super honest. But
yeah, I get that.
But going into this movie, I was so excited. I really, really was. And I was just underwhelmed. And I didn't dislike it. I really didn't. I enjoyed it. And I thought there were plenty of really great performances, a really great lead performance. But I was disappointed, I have to be honest. And the truth is I haven't revisited it because it is 3 hours of just dialogue. And it you have to be just in the right mood for it.
You do.
So I need to get back to it, and I'm hoping that when I watch it again, it might bump up a few spots, give me a different appreciation for it, fully knowing what it's going to be. But again, I think it's a perfectly good movie, plenty enjoyable, but you just have to be ready for a slow burn.
It is definitely a slow burn, no pun intended, and I think that it's way better than where you put it. I don't mind the dialogue. I think it's Christopher Nolan doing maybe his most adult film.
I don't mind it either. I enjoy those kinds of movies.
Yeah, and I think it is loaded with incredible performances, but it's heavy. Now, going back to this idea of the Oscars, I do agree. I think in many ways there was an aspect of the win that was an acceptance, or rather a recognition of the full body of work of all these films that we're talking about right now. But it was a phenomenon. It took a film that should not have been a big box office. He made a film that should not have been a big box office hit, and it was.
Yeah, absolutely. It was an event.
And so I think that also led to the award buzz.
Which is fair.
I'm going to take just a moment here and announce a new full episode segment that we're going to be introducing in the future, and it's going to be called our Oscar Reward, where we go back and take a year of the Oscars and we re-award the winners as they should have been.
There's plenty of opportunity for that.
Yeah. So stay tuned for a future bottle episodes where we do our Oscar rewards.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so and then this is where I had Batman Begins here in this spot, which we've already covered. And my next spot, I've got the World War II thriller Dunkirk, which we already covered as well. So this is where I have it sitting. I think it's quite a bit better than the films that we've already talked about. You've got a new film in this next slot, though. Moving forward, what do you want to talk about now?
Yeah, I have Tenet, and I think it is. I mean, as we see now, right in the middle of the pack for me. But I think it's severely underrated. I enjoyed it the first time I saw it, though we both agree there's some pretty poor sound mixing. Without subtitles, it's hard to understand at times, but
it can be.
And it's a little too smart for its own good, to where I don't know that I have ever, in like my 4 or 5 viewings of this movie, fully understood what was going on. But I threw this quote at you a few times lately, and they say it in the movie: "Don't try to understand it, just feel it." So and I feel it. I enjoy it a lot. I think it's really good. I think it's very underrated. And it's a good time.
I do too.
Every time.
I do too. You have it at 7. I have it at 6. I think it's a fun movie. I mean, it's not the only movie in his catalog that makes you scratch your head and then walk away feeling stupid. But I think that it's one of the reasons why his films reward rewatching as much as they do.
Absolutely. There's nothing quite like finishing a movie and immediately saying, I want to turn that back on right now and watch it again.
Yeah.
So, which my wife did with my number 2 movie, which we'll get there when we get there. But above that, I have The Dark Knight Rises, which we touched on. Again, I enjoy it. It's got really high highs for me, and it outweighs the low lows. And that's really all it comes down to, in my opinion. So that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah. Well, in my number 5 slot, I've got Oppenheimer. So, 3 or 4 slots above you. We both agree it's a good film. I think it's better than any of the others below it. I think it's top 5 for him for sure. I think it's interesting that some people would have it at number 1 for sure. I mean, it's obviously a big award winner. So some people see it as his opus.
Those people would be wrong.
I agree. So I have it in the top 5. You have it quite a bit lower. This is where we really start to draw blood because of your next pick in the number 5 slot.
You know what? I'm actually going to call an audible looking at this list, and I'm going to swap this one and the one above it, because the truth is it's not right. It's not right on the paper.
Agree.
So
I agree.
So what is actually my next film is going to be Inception. Again, a movie that I really, really do enjoy. Every single time I think it's great. There's the Inception versus Interstellar debate constantly. I think you and I kind of disagree on it, but to me, Inception doesn't measure up, and that is why it is a little lower here, but it is phenomenal. You have the rotating hallways and all the different layers and the city folding over itself. Just some incredible visuals that I don't think we had ever seen up until that point.
Definitely not.
And a score and a soundtrack that started our modern day trailer trend with the bong over and over and over again. And I think it's got some really good performances. It also has just some okay performances, I think. But again, anything with Tom Hardy, I enjoy. So this movie is a really good one. I really enjoy it. I would put this at like a 9 or maybe even a 10 out of 10, but probably closer to a 9 out of 10 for me. And I've seen it probably 10 times at this point. It's always interesting. It's never boring.
Yeah.
Extremely rewatchable.
In those tough performances, do you include Leonardo DiCaprio in that? Like, what are your thoughts on his lead performance?
I think at times it's really compelling, and other scenes it kind of drags me out of the movie. I feel like he's very hot and cold.
Interesting. So we mentioned earlier when talking about the new PTA film that he's going to be in that there are films that I like despite him. This is one of those. I'm not a huge DiCaprio fan, but I really enjoy this movie. You have it at 4, right?
5.
No, you just moved it to 5. You moved it to 5. Yeah, I've got it way higher than that. I have it up at number 2. I'm just going to say it now. I have it at number 2. It's my second favorite Nolan film. In terms of the Interstellar, which we haven't talked about yet, Inception debate, where I draw the line is that I think that Inception is a popcorn movie at the same time as it's a Nolan movie, and we don't get that. I think it's the perfect marriage between the Batman series, the Dark Knight series, and the types of movies like Tenet and Inception and Dunkirk that he oftentimes does. So to me, it's kind of the perfect blend of Nolan delivering on a great movie-going experience while also being very, very Nolan.
Yeah, I mean, it's mind-bending enough without you being completely lost.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's the kind of movie that makes you think and that you can't forget immediately and that you want to go back to. So, like I said, to me, it's my second favorite Nolan film. I have it up at 2, so I think you have grossly underestimated it, just like you have with your number 4 pick.
So for my number 4, I have Memento. Had it at 5, realized I was wrong. I can admit my mistakes, and I have it at number 4. I really enjoy it, and I think out of all of his filmography, this one just might be the most rewarding to watch over again. It's one of those movies that takes you about halfway through, maybe not quite halfway through. We good?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm so offended by what you said that I had to leave for a minute.
Okay. Yeah, it just rewards rewatch. I think it takes you a little while to realize the format of the movie, and then once you do, it's still just mind-boggling enough that you could turn it right back on, or maybe find a cut online that tells it chronologically. But it's phenomenal. It's a phenomenal mystery with really interesting aspects to it, and an amazing lead performance. And so, again, it's lower on my list, but I'd consider this a 9 or 10 out of 10 movie.
Well, I agree with everything you said except where you've ranked it. I mean, for me, again, this is my number 1 film. This is my number 1 Nolan film. It is one of my favorite films of all time. I absolutely love this. It is the mind-blowing, thought-provoking masterpiece a masterpiece of a debut that completely takes the form and changes it up, redirects it, turns it into a puzzle in a way that is so creative and so thoughtful. It's one of those, one of ones. There is not another movie that exists like Memento. There will not be another movie that exists like Memento. In fact, I might even argue that he's been trying to figure out how to bend the format as successfully ever since that movie. We mentioned Dunkirk. We mentioned some of these other films, Interstellar, and all these films where he plays with timelines and with format. He's never been as successful in doing so as
I'd agree.
In Memento.
I would agree.
It's a perfect film, and I not only is this the top of my list, it would be the top of many lists that I make.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine putting it at only 5 or 4. It's for sure my favorite Nolan film.
And that's completely fair. I can't knock you for that. So why don't you tell us what your number 4 is then?
So my 4 is Interstellar, and this is maybe where I offend you in this sense. This is a great film, but I got to say that it also took me a number of years to fully appreciate it. A number of viewings over a number of years to fully appreciate it. But again, I think that this is one of those where you watch a Nolan film because you want to be perplexed.
Yeah.
So it's like opening up the Friday New York Times crossword puzzle. You're going to be frustrated at points, but that's part of the joy of it. You're trying to challenge yourself, but that's why I prefer. That's why I prefer Inception. That's why I prefer Memento, because I think they both are similarly challenging, but with quite a bit more payoff. And so, but I do really enjoy Interstellar. I think there's some really great performances across the film. I think that it is one that for sure rewards multiple watchings. But
I
don't think it measures up to those other two films.
Yeah. I think your frustration speaks more to you than the film. But
You're saying I'm not smart enough for Interstellar?
I mean, I didn't say that exactly, but you did. So
I think you implied it.
Anyways, moving on. In my 3 slot, I have The Dark Knight, and we actually agree on this.
Yeah, it's my number 3 as well. The Dark Knight.
I didn't realize we were aligned on this, but
we were.
We spoke.
That and Insomnia are only 2 that we're aligned on.
Yeah,
where they sit.
We spoke extensively on this in the last or maybe 2 podcasts ago, so we don't need to dive too deep into it, but it kind of speaks for itself. Everybody already knows that The Dark Knight is a phenomenal movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think The Dark Knight, like we said, it has some phenomenal performances.
Yeah.
And that's what pushes it up. It definitely had an effect on me in viewing that doesn't happen often. So I think it's great. I think, honestly, it's the most tenuous of all these films in terms of its spot. It could easily be pushed further down this list in place of Interstellar, in place of Oppenheimer, even Tenet. Like, those 3 films are so much smarter. They're in many ways better made, but they're missing one big thing, and that's that Heath Ledger performance, which is game changing. And so it's tricky. It could have easily been further down the list for me, but it is not.
Yeah, fair enough. So we already touched on your number 2 being Inception. You love it. Mm-hmm. We get it.
And we've touched on both my number 2 and my number 1 because you have them unacceptably ranked far too low.
Had them too low in your opinion. So we will say my number 2, and at one point it was even my number 1, but my number 2 is The Prestige, and I just absolutely adore this movie. It falls right into every category of movie that I love. It was one of the last Christopher Nolan movies that I had ever seen, and when it ended, my jaw was on the floor. I immediately texted a buddy of mine, hey, you need to watch this movie. And he came over the next day and we watched it. And then I told my mom, hey, you need to watch this movie. So we watched it like a week later. And when I showed this movie to Nat, my wife, she screamed at the end of the movie and asked me to turn it on again immediately. And we did. We started it over. I think, in my opinion, it actually is the most rewarding rewatch. Every single line of dialogue, every single action in that movie is foreshadowing one of several reveals that will come later in the last 10 minutes of the movie. Truly, every time I watch that movie, I catch something that I never noticed before. I absolutely adore it. I know you don't love all the performances. I really do. I think they're really good, and I love a good twist ending and a Sir Michael Caine.
I don't know that it's necessarily performances that don't land for me. I think maybe I've said that in the past. I don't recall. Have I said to you in the past that there was a performance I didn't like? Remind me. Who did I like? Was it Jackman? Yeah. I mean, I guess I just don't love him generally. I think he can be good, but I think he can also be. I think he can overact at times, and so I think that's the only one, though. I think the rest of the performances are all really great, and I don't dislike him in this. I just don't go crazy for it.
I can't say enough good things about this movie.
Yeah, I know. I mean, for me, the whole like twist ending, it's like it's like if you were doing like a coin trick and the coin disappeared, and then you pulled the coin out from behind somebody's ear, and then you said, "Oh, but the coin turns out that it's it's the Vietnam War." And you're like, "Wait, I don't get that. That just doesn't quite align. Like, why would the coin be a whole like subject? It doesn't make sense. Like, I feel like the reveal is trying too hard to be a big reveal, and to the point where it challenged credulity in a way that doesn't land for me.
I completely disagree. I think you couldn't be more wrong. I think it's an amazing reveal. I've never, ever watched this movie with somebody who didn't absolutely love the ending.
That's not true.
Who? You?
You watched it with me.
I mean, but you had seen it before.
Well, yes, but still, I mean, I did my best to rewatch it with you and try and enjoy it more. And
This is my go-to recommendation when somebody wants a movie. I tell them, let's watch this movie, and let me watch it with you so I can watch you watch this movie.
It's fine. It's fine.
Horrible. So then I guess we'll move on. We'll move on to my number one, which I think is clearly his best movie, and I would even say objectively, it's Interstellar. It's just a perfect movie. And I don't think it's as complicated as you make it seem. When I watched it
personally, I'm not by myself in this thought.
No, definitely not. But I don't think it's even close to his most confusing movie. First time I ever watched it, I didn't fully understand it. But I was at a high school dance, or maybe right before a high school dance, and then we weren't really
watching movies at your high school dance.
No, just like you go to the dance and then you go do something fun after with a group. We went and saw this movie and we were all goofing off the whole time, so I wasn't really paying attention. But the second time I watched it, I was like, wait, this movie is really good. And then the third time, I'm just like, this might be the best movie I've ever seen. Definitely the best sci-fi movie I've ever seen. I think it's perfect. I don't think it's that complicated. I think the ending is definitely the most complicated part, or I should say like the last 10 to 15 minutes of it. And that is fair. It's a little mind-breaking. But beyond that, the rest of the movie I don't think is particularly confusing.
I mean, it's hard to go back, honestly, to the very first time I saw this. But I don't dislike the film at all. I love the film. I love the film. It's my number 4. I mean, it's high up there. I just think that he has some films that are, for me, more rewarding is all. But I do really appreciate this movie.
And it has one of the greatest scores of any movie ever, I think. It's phenomenal. I listen to it regularly.
It is a beautiful score. It is a beautiful score, yeah, no doubt.
All right. That wraps up our Nolan discussion, our ranking.
Yeah.
I think this might be the first time where we are really seeing a disconnect between you and I, and I think that's fun.
Yeah, it's good. It's fine. I mean, we both love Nolan. He is your favorite director. He is one of my favorite directors. He's not my favorite, but he's one of my favorites for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, and I'm happy to have been able to. Oh, he's totally in the conversation. Yeah, and I'm happy to have been able to introduce you to him. And so I think that the fact that you love his films as much as you do is really great to me.
Might be the best thing you ever did.
There you go. It could be. It could be.
All right.
I occasionally do something right.
You wanna take us into our last segment?
Yeah, I mean we're essentially done with the episode, but we thought we'd do a little epilogue here. The news came out yesterday that the actor Val Kilmer had passed away. Born in '59, died on April the 1st. I wish it had been an April Fool's joke. It was not. And so we thought we'd do a quick little tribute to Val Kilmer. I have a deeper relationship with his work than Braden does, and that's okay, because honestly, he hasn't been working much for quite a long time, and that had to do with his illness. But I think that he has an incredible place in cinematic history, and so we thought we would talk really quickly about sort of a handful of his performances that I personally love. I'm going to kind of go in order, but before I do that, I mean, how has Val Kilmer shown up for you in your life as a film lover?
Yeah, I mean, I've only seen him in a few movies, to be super honest. Unfortunately, one of them was Batman Forever, which was not a way that he's really shown up for me.
No,
but
and is not on the list we're about to talk through either.
No, but I will say he gives one of my favorite performances of all time. Truly, I can say that from the bottom of my heart. He gives one of the best performances I've ever seen in a movie that is good, but he takes that movie from good to great just with his performance alone as Doc Holliday.
Yeah.
Man, did he just have so much sauce in that movie? It was ridiculous.
It was.
And he was just in rough shape the whole movie, like half dead, and he still was just the baddest guy around the whole time.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. I think I really kind of wish that you'd gotten a chance to appreciate or see more of his films, but that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk a little bit about that right now. So I'm going to say the first performance on the list that I have that's of Val Kilmer's that's worth watching is his turn as Jim Morrison in The Doors. This is a tough movie to completely get through. To be frank, Oliver Stone may be at his most Oliver Stone-ness. Maybe not. Maybe JFK is a little more stony, but this movie was incredibly important to me. It came out when I was, I think, a freshman or sophomore in high school, and really introduced me in a lot of ways to the music of The Doors, which I continue to love. And his performance of as Jim Morrison was all encompassing. He completely embodied the character in a way that was unlike anything else. The next film that I'm going to recommend that you check out of his is called Top Secret. This was his debut. This is an absurd comedy. It is in the vein, I think it's done by the Zucker brothers, it's in the vein of the Airplane Airplane films, and some others that would come later. But it's very absurd, but it's also it's incredibly funny. The comedy is juvenile, but he is an absolute star. The second you see him on screen, he's singing, he's dancing, he's performing, he's funny, he's dramatic, he's everything. And so I would highly, highly, highly recommend Top Secret.
Yeah.
Have you even heard of that? Have you heard of that film? Have you seen it?
No, at first I thought it was a typo. I thought you were trying to say Top Gun.
Yeah, it's ironic that I think 3 of my favorite of his performances are all from films that start with the word top.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Top Secret. So check that one out. If you want to laugh in ways that will probably make you feel like you shouldn't be laughing.
Yeah. And real quick, I do hate to do this. I have to get out of here pretty soon. So
we're going to go fast. We're going to go fast through this. So Top Gun Maverick, I think his performance there is incredible and really helped make that movie for me. I'm going to go now.
I agree.
Yeah. I'm going to go now to Heat. Actually, I've always loved this movie, and for a while, his performance was one of the things that I struggled with. But over time, I have really grown to love this performance. My next one may be a little bit of a controversial choice. I love Willow. This is a film that gets a lot of hate. I think he's incredible in it. I love him. I want to be him so badly in this film. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which was a bit of a comeback for him with Robert Downey Jr. It's a Shane Black film that's just fantastic. Obviously, Top Gun. As Iceman, he is the Iceman.
Absolutely.
And you can't walk away from there. And then of course I agree with what you said earlier. My favorite performance of his, and I think most people's favorite performance of his, is Tombstone. It's similar to the Heath Ledger performance we talked about earlier. You cannot take your eyes off him. You want to go back and rewatch that movie for one reason and one reason only, and that's him.
He's just eating it up the whole time.
I would recommend any of these that you haven't seen already. Go back and rewatch it and do a bit of a retrospective on Val Kilmer's work. But these are my favorite choices. There's definitely a few others that could have made the list, but these are the way to go. So anyway, we're running out of time. So we've ranked, we've debated, we've disagreed. Although we haven't really disagreed about who shot first. We all know what happened there. It's all just another day in the galaxy, my friend.
Yeah, so whether you're Gen X, Gen Z, or somewhere lost in time, please like, subscribe, share, and keep listening to I Am Your Father.
And until the next episode, remember that with great power comes the great second breakfast, and winter's also coming. So may the Force live long and prosper with you.
Because we can do this all day.
We'll see you later.